Terry Foy inside Lacrosse here at Homewood Field, where 5,222 fans were treated to an unbelievable game on a beautiful day in Baltimore, Maryland, as Johns Hopkins midfielder Joel Tinney gave the Blue Jays a 14-13 overtime victory over the Loyola Greyhounds in a early season matchup. The Blue Jays were led by junior attackman Shaq Stanwick, who finished with 4 goals and an assist, while the Greyhounds were paced by sophomore attackman Patrick Spencer, who finished with an assist and 4 goals, and senior midfielder Brian Sherlock, who finished with 4 goals. After possessing the ball for the last 2 minutes of regulation, Loyola had an opportunity to win before overtime. However, Brian Sherlock got underneath the defenseman, and Johns Hopkins reacted properly with a double team, causing a turnover, during which the clock ran out. Sherlock also had a look in overtime. However, Johns Hopkins senior goaltender Gerald Logan was able to save the effort high to high, make his 8th stop of the game, and set the Blue Jays up for the game-winning tally.
This is Thomas Casali with Inside Lacrosse, reporting from the Carrier Dome, where Syracuse beat Albany 10-9. It was Nick Mariano with 1.6 seconds left with a rocket in the left-hand corner for the game winner. Syracuse erased a 6-3 halftime deficit to take a 7-6 lead in the third period. It was 4 unanswered goals from Syracuse in the third that gave the Orange a lead. It was a back-and-forth fourth period, though, with Albany and Syracuse exchanging goals. Sergio Salcido put Syracuse up 9-8 in the fourth, but it was Sean Eccles tying it 9-9 with 3:43 left. Then it was Mariano with 1.6 seconds left to give the Orange the win and improve them to 2-0.
This is Jason Myers for Inside Lacrosse, covering the Denver-Duke game. Denver came out with a 14-9 victory here at Peter Barton Lacrosse Stadium, led by Connor Canizaro's 4 goals and 2 assists. Ethan Walker had 3 goals and an assist, and Austin French had 3 assists for the Pioneers. Leading the Duke Blue Devils, we had Jack Bruckner, Justin Gutterding, and John Prendergast, each with 2 goals. Duke came out a little rusty, it seemed. A lot of 4 turnovers in the first quarter, but after that, really the second and third and most of the fourth quarter it was a heavyweight battle, body blow to body blow. It wasn't until the last 10 minutes or so of the fourth quarter where DU really cracked it open, scoring 3 goals in a minute and 30 seconds to really seal the deal.
Welcome back to the studio. I'm Zach Babbo. Catch up on some more ACC Week 3 play here. UNC topped Lehigh 15-8. Luke Goldstock led the way with 5 goals, and William Perry had a hat trick. Lehigh really came in with a lot of moxie, a lot of edge, brought it into UNC right off the bat. They weren't backing down. The game was really close throughout, but UNC's kind of overwhelming offense eventually broke and just topped Lehigh here. UNC kind of getting back in the offensive role here, racking up 15 goals against a good defensive team. Speaking of racking up goals, Virginia tops Drexel 18-14 in another shootout. That seems to be how the Cavs are going to play this year. And Drexel was more than happy to oblige with that kind of a style. The game was actually 14-13 heading into the fourth quarter, and UVA was able to rattle off the last 4 goals to build the distance for the win. Zed Williams continued to thrive in this style of play. He had 2 goals and 4 assists in the game. But Mike DeMauro was the big hero of the day. He had 7 goals. Good and bad at special positions for Virginia. Jason Murphy and Luke Bruegel combined for a 23-13 edge in the faceoffs. But goalie Will Raleigh played the first half, made 4 saves, but let in 8 goals. In the second half, he was replaced by Griffin Thompson, who let in 6 goals and had 2 stops. Be interesting if that was kind of a plan, or if that might mean we're seeing a changing goal for UVA here. That's a very stressful position to play in that kind of an up-tempo style. The final ACC game of the day had Notre Dame and Georgetown square off in Frisco, Texas. The Irish prevailed with a 16-10 win, though the game was close early. Ryder Garnsey had a career day of 6 goals and 2 assists, and Mikey Wynn put in 4 goals himself. For the midfield, Perkovic had 2 goals, and freshman midfielder Brian Costabile stepped up with 2. So it looks like Notre Dame's offense is kind of figuring out its footing. Georgetown, despite the loss, maybe has a couple of good things to work on here. Goalie Nick Morocco made 15 saves, and Peter Conley scored 5 goals and 1 assist. The Georgetown offense looked good early, but just couldn't sustain late. Notre Dame just keeps coming at you, and it's hard to beat them. Ivy League play opened today. Some big performances led to wins for their Ancient Eight squads. Yale beat Villanova 16-11. That game was pretty close throughout, but Yale opened it up in the third quarter. But the bigger story may be that Ben Reeves goes down early, and two freshmen who we were really high on after seeing them in a committed academy stepped up for the Bulldogs. Jackson Morrell had 5 goals and added an assist, and Lucas Kotler had 2 goals on 4 shots. These guys really were key in helping this win, and it'll be interesting to see how they track for the rest of the year. Then Harvard tops UMass Lowell 14-9. Kind of usual suspects for Harvard there. 4 goals and 3 assists for Morgan Sheik, and Joe Lang had a hat trick of his own.
Dan Abram here in College Park reporting for Inside Lacrosse, where I just saw Maryland defeat High Point 19-5. It was pretty much a dominant day for the Maryland Terrapins on all parts of the ball. Defense, offense, specialists. Austin Henningsen was named the player of the game. He went 13 for 17 at the dot, had a goal and 2 assists. As for Maryland's attack, it continues to be the story for this team. Matt Rambo, another 6-point performance for him, 3 goals, 3 assists. 3 goals for Dylan Maltz, and 1 goal, 1 assist for Colin Heacock. And holding it together in the midfield, Connor Kelly, 3 goals for him. Another big part of this game was Dan Morris's best performance so far this season. 12 saves for him and 5 goals against.
Welcome back to the studio. Let's catch up on some scores from around the nation. Rutgers held on for a thriller against Army 12-10. It was 12-6 Rutgers at one point in the second half. Army rattled off the final 4 goals of the game to close the gap, but just wasn't enough. Cole Johnson led all scorers with 5 goals. Robert Morris beat Manhattan 18-8 despite Jasper goalie Michael Zingaro posting 14 saves in the game. Binghamton beat Colgate 11-8. That's coach Kevin McEwen's first win for the program. Navy got their first win of the year, 11-5 over Delaware. Marquette blanked Jacksonville 17-1. 14 Golden Eagles scored in the game, and the defensive effort like that just speaks for itself. Ohio State squeaked out an 8-7 win over UMass. It's the kind of game Ohio State tends to win, possession-based, low scoring. Towson 13, Mount St. Mary's 5. Joe Mazza Towson had 6 goals in the win. In a game a few could see, but everybody kind of wanted to, Penn State doubled up Cornell 20-10 behind Grant Emmett's 6-3 day. That Penn State offense is just unreal so far this year. Penn doubled up St. Joe's 10-5. Monmouth couldn't quite keep the upsets rolling and fell to Hofstra 11-9. Boston University keeps scoring, topping Hartford 12-5. Vermont took care of Holy Cross 14-8 with Ben French leading the way with 5 goals. Providence got the early edge in the Ocean State Cup, getting a goal from Austin Goltz with 3 minutes left to beat Bryant 7-6. Richmond doubled up UMBC 10-5. Sacred Heart edged Furman 9-8. Siena nearly completed the comeback against Hobart, but fell 16-15. And in one of the biggest upsets of the day, Marist comes out to Colorado and defeats Air Force 10-4 behind 16 saves from goalie Brian Corrigan and a 3-3 day from IL intern extraordinaire J.D. Recor. That wraps up the action for Week 3. Make sure to gear up for your season with Epic's line of goods and apparel, like the Gen 6 Dragonfly Shaft, Ultralight Otter Mesh, and the Hawk Prequel Head.